Jak je to Ezreal, potom Alistar, Lucian, OK.
I would have preferred something that can kind of be that consistent DPS.
See, let's get into the game. Casey's second of the split. Giantex is first. Both these teams not making any changes between summer and spring. Something we have seen from other teams.
Bude dnes pískanice, jak to myslíš?
Storming start on day one as we see Isma looking to see if he can get a little bit of a ward in towards those Razorbeak. Still has time to do it. You really want to go in about 1 minute 10 to make sure that you have that spotted out.
Yeah, I think my focus is going to be on exactly how Isma is going to play the early game. I think there is a try and get in the face of Yike early and see if you can do some damage.
Kouzelnice, jo, kouzelnice budou.
That you just don't really have control over the bottom side of the map. Same when you look towards Khan in that top lane, should have push level 1 to 3. So I think the moments for Isma to try and get in and look for invades is going to be relatively tough. Because I think if you don't, Yike just kind of gets to control.
Tak, level 1, ty minus HPčka už teďka, proti se, uvidíme. Webku pojď, jo, já jsem nastavil ten blurb, já se s tím furt seru tady off stream, abych to měl správně nastavené, ale seru na to.
LEC deciding to run the Ignite and the TP here on the Gwen.
Nejvíc weak minulou sezónu, jungler. Jungler velice špatný. Takže oni mají Lucian Alistar na botu proti Ezreal Nico. Ezreal Nico by měli hard vyhrávat tuhle linku, to jak se stalo? To jak se stalo, že mají Ezreal Nico? Klop nemá Flash, má Ignite na topu, takže by je to free gank jakoby v podstatě. Ale Kanajax je Kanajax, tak uvidíme, co to bude.
Had a really fun time yesterday just playing tanks. He was still winning out in the 1v1 on the top lane in most of those matchups against Na'Vi. Another player that had a whale of a time was Kalist, going 20-something-06. I tried to bring up the thing on the broadcast, but I must have mispressed the button and I couldn't remember the exact stats myself. Here we are, 26k.
To bude asi nepříjemná linka pro Giants.
On the Ezreal died during that game, which is why his KDA is actually specified now rather than unspecified. But he came out to a storming start as Isma looking to
to je flash na Targamase. Targamase je dead. Ani by neměl flashovat upřímně. Tohle je smart gank jak svině. Tohle upřímně je smart gank jak svině, protože ta linka by byla šíleně nepříjemná. A on si udělal top side campy, skipnul bot side a ganknul level 3, to málo kdo čeká. Nezavardili si včas, nebyla tam ta vardička, 2 pade. Gang. A Jun použil dvojitý Včko na Kalisteho a pak flash Včko na Targamase, protože si myslel, že Kaliste zareaguje a Targamas ne.
Keep himself alive for now. Yike has done a full clear and is on his way towards the top side. Lot in a safe enough position with the wave crashing just outside of his tower range.
This is going to slowly push out, so there is a chance for Yike to try and get in here. And as you say, no flash.
Že viděl tady už někdo One Piece novou epizodu. Já se těším jak malej na One Piece. Dneska dáme po lecku hodinu Mage Areny, možná hodinu a půl. A pak přemýšlím, co budu dělat. Jestli dám RuneScape s Tomášem, s bráchou, na chill a progres těch quest logů, co jsou mega zábavný. A nebo si kliknu stream, abych se pojel na One Piece. One Piece? To je One Piece. My tomu teď na channelu říkáme One Piece, protože mě Snappy s tím strašně rozesmal. Co to je One Piece? One Piece je One Piece anime. Nejlepší anime ever. Mnohem lepší než Naruto. I said it. Nemá flash, no Jun, takže by měl umřít. Wow, actually! Oh, jaký play! Ježiši. Dobré, ale nestačilo to. Dobré, ok. Tohle je dobré pro Casey. 2 killy. One Piece je lepší než Naruto, I said it. Taky jsem si myslel, že One Piece nikdy nemůže být lepší než Naruto, ale je. Neviděli jste poslední 3 epizody.
looking for a gank towards the mid lane. Rise, if you can get his flash out early, becomes a sitting
Lidi si to nechcou přiznat, jo, je to tak.
Down. Vladi's going to try and walk away. There's the pillar, but Jackie's
Ty pičo, to bylo raf.
Vladi's able to walk his way away.
Yeah, nice roam from Targamas towards the mid lane there, knowing that he was out a little bit quicker than his AD carry counterpart, so making his presence known, it just forces Giant X back. So you don't have to
ahead s tou Gwen, což je zajímavý.
For Giant X in this situation is Vladi just teleported back to lane, so he's going to lose basically that whole wave. The Drake is available.
Veny, koukáš na to tak, protože na to koukáš celý život. Ale ne, One Piece, když skytneš filery a koukneš se na ten One Piece Project, tak to máš za pár týdnů zkouknutý celý.
And they're looking to secure the first Drake of the game as Lot and Kana will trade up towards the top side. Grandmaster's Might coming out from Kana as the Jack's ultimate.
První draček pro
Giant.
X. They're still going to try and make Giant X hurt as they re-enter the lane here, but I set up already for Giant X in this early stages. I think the main focus for them is going to be trying to keep their bottom lane safe here and make sure that they're able to. Their bot lane is still able to farm efficiently. Just that Isma can try and make some presence on the map now, and especially I think he needs to look for counter ganks against LEC, because once you go for that flag and drag in, you're
dubbing to má One Piece, ale nedívej se na dubbing. Na japonský anime se musíš dělat v japonštině. Já jsem neviděl ten animovaný, nebo ten real, ten hranej na Netflixu, ale prý to bylo strašně dobrý. Ale nechápu, jak to mohlo být dobrý.
Are going slightly in favor of Giant X. We are going to get towards this sort of subsequent consecutive objective.
Na to se podívej, to bylo nice, okay. Nemám Netflix, ale nemám televizi. A na počítači, já mohl bych se na to podívat na počítači. Je to skvělý přímo, real.
Yeah, I think a huge amount of the way you want to try and play those fights is actually fighting in jungle. If you're able to beat KC to the punch and getting into river, well, your Trundle Pillar can get a lot of value on choke points, same when you look towards Orianna ult, Jun can look for flanks.
Tak, 7:30, grubíci za 30 vteřin, tady by se mohlo něco zajímavého stát na grubíkách.
How you want to prioritize the objectives, and it does become a little bit tough when you've got things like Vladi having that ultimate to move around the map.
Hele, na One Piece musíš koukat od začátku. Ale podívej se na One Piece projekt. To je sestříhaný, to je anime bez fillerů a sestříhaný tak, aby to bylo rychle stravitelný. Je Lot, nemá ten? Počkej, on nemá ten? OK, ale tady to zežere Isma. Isma to zežere v oba dva, ne, podle mě. Bang, 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 bang. Ty dobrý engage. Deep engage. Targama smysnul všechno, co mohl mysnout. Dobrý kvéčko od Kalista. Začal se fightit v momentě, kdy vidíš, kde jsou oba jungleři, tak všichni začnou fightit. Tady jestli vemou 3 gruby, tak to bude nepříjemný, ale jako Gwen s 3 grubama bude kousat ty turety, doslova.
The bot lane of Giant X has been pushed because Vladi moved into the fog of war, could realm warp across. The swap has come out from Giant X, bringing that Gwen into the bottom side after she died up towards top. They do get a grub, 2 grubs in fact.
Jenom 2 dali, oni nedali toho proč nedali toho třetího? Proč nedali toho třetího? Ten Trundle.
It is interesting to see though how we have kind of pivoted away from
3 gruby z Gwen by byly jako turbo insane. Neviděli jajka, to je jedno. Týpek měl ještě flash s tím Trundlem. A Trundle vyhraje 1v1 proti Jarvanovi, nemůže ho kontestit. Finta. No nějaká finta to je, ale tu fintu zatím nechápu. Víš co, ani dva ti dají ten? Dva ti nedají stack neutrálu, že? Ani? Nebo? Nebo daj? Dávaj, ok. Typek prostě chtěl jenom farmit, hej? S tím Trundlem. Nebo jako nechápu.
Have managed to extend their lead to about 500 gold. Still nothing too substantial, but
Minutka do draka, je to druhý drak. Ty první 3 killy měli KC na boty.
Safer, and you kind of saw it for a quick second there where Isma took the wrong route through river and suddenly he's got multiple members of KC on him. So this is where you need to make sure you're working really well with Isma and Jun to cover this Orianna, cover your sides, and just not get caught out as you're trying to do so.
You can see how much vision actually Giant X have invested down towards that bottom side of the map right now. So many wards. You've got the Scuttle Crab, you've got a ward here, you've got a ward behind, you've got a ward here, you've got Jun standing behind the pit just in case. And they're not actually investing too much in keeping the Orianna safe, but that's because they know KC are on the bottom side of the map right now. The Drake
Kurva, je
is
drak
the
za
key target.
7 vteřin. Jsem dostal ADHD. Musím zůstat. Budou to giftovat? Budou to giftovat, typek veme třetího grubíka, nebo co tady udělá? A ten třetí grub tam furt je? Nebo tam není? Protože na mapě vypadá, že tam ten třetí grub furt je, jakoby. Jako tady vemou celou turet, možná s těma, kdyby měli 3 gruby, tak vzali 100% celou turet. Je tam furt? To kvéčko Trundlet to seká, vole. Tady by byla turet gone, by the way. Teď to nevemou kvůli tomu. Okay. Nevemou asi, ne. A teď veme do třetího grubíka. Okay. Ale tak vzal toho třetího aspoň. Ale tyjo. No, mají 3 gruby pro Gwen, to je dobré.
A dragon for KC, and now they're starting to set up into the 1-3-1. I still think Giant X need a bit of time to scale, both with the Orianna and the Gwen, so they're definitely going to be playing on the defensive foot, and it's more on eyes on Yike to see what plays he can make.
See where he ends up being on the map. But now, you know, he's been involved in all 3 of his team's kills, kind of what you expect from a Jarvan. Has the Sundered Sky complete first items.
To je zajímavý, že tam furt je. Celou dobu, že se to nedaspavne. First turetu potřebou a první 3 neutrální tity, jo. Jo, Vlady, flashuj, neflashnul. Má ultimátku. Tady je straight up dead, proč neflashnul to kombo? First tureta, kilíčky, tohle začíná Giants docela smutný. Dobré, to se mi líbí.
Jackie so he could get the reset, and it's as KC disappear, that's when he's able to make the play. So nice pick off of the Bloody in his side lane.
Also means they're going to get first tower because there's no one
First tureta, 1600 goldu advantage v podstatě.
Having our feats decided by who manages to pick up that
Teda
last
1800 dokonce. OK, a teď co z toho? 1500 Orianna ahead, to je šílený, jako Jackie je turbo ahead. Teď jen, aby to nezahodil v late gameu. Drak za 3 minutky. Teď vemou i tu tier 3, teda tier 1 na botu. Nebo měli by. Ojojoj, Jun nemá ult, Jestli jsme to tady bejtí, nebo... Jax nemá TP, Jax má TP. Jackie tady bude brát zase pláty, kámo. Zmizly pláty, škoda. To, jak to ta Orianna by tady byla tak huge, to by bylo šílený. Vyzouní je, OK. Rice TP? Gwen má TP?
To try and pick up this wave, but not really getting much out of it.
1700 gold jásku ahead.
Towards top side, he's going to be able to push that out. There's no tier 1, so he can push it all the way back to the tier 2. Kana's going to have to reset to answer that. Will have his teleport available, so can then join a fight around, you know, the dragon up in 2 minutes, or the rift out in 30 seconds is the more likely objective that we'll see these two teams butt heads around.
Isma is moving down to this bottom side, but Yike delayed going back into his own jungle. I wasn't sure. So basically what's going to happen is...
2000 goldu je crazy good.
Come on, there we go.
Hlavně Trundle šilně ahead, Orianna tam, jako hlavně Orianna Trundle jsou důležitý z Gwen ahead. Botlane je irrelevant, upřímně, to je v té hře. Gwen bude důležitá, že má 3 grubíky, ale musí začít získávat nějaký turety potom. Všechno dávali zatím Oréně. Což není vůbec špatně teda. Zase hrajou kolem Jackise. Snaží se ho protektit vším, co mají. A dát mu všechno, co mají. Když bude 2000 goldů advantage Oriana, to bude lala.
With that solo XP and extra gold.
And that's why I think they did give it up. It's when you look at the Ezreal just hit.
Chat, je tu někdo? No, do chatu. Já mám vyplay viewcam, tak nevím, kolik to lidí. Čoko, Ondas. Ondas je hooknutý na lolku, no way. Tak, 2000 na Orianě, top lane even, jungle even, všechno ostatní even. Tady takhle, to je nejlepší, když máš 2000 gold advantage a máš to funnelnutý na jednom championovi, na jedné roli, tak je to tak dobrý. To je mnohem lepší, než když máš 2000 gold advantage a každý hráč je ahead o 200-300 goldů, víc nebo 400.
But the early game so far from Giants X has been really solid. KC did struggle a little bit yesterday in their early games and have across the course of previous splits, but I guess my assumption of the 2 games we saw
Dráček.
cleaned it up just a little bit.
And traditionally it has been
Ojojojojojojoj. Kámo, Giants hrajou dobře. Hodí zónu, one-shotnou supporta, který to nečeká, protože supporti to nikdy nečekají, že budou target. Wow. Nice, natrénovali v off-sezóně. Natrénovali. Konečně, ty vole, jako Giants jsou tým, který papírově jsou strašně dobří a měli by být na tom velice dobře. OK. Proč se bojí Noah? Čeho se bál Noah? Noah, čeho se zbál, bro? Noah, máš flash, všechno, tady byl mrtvej, Kaliste. Noah, bro. OK, dobrý flash od Jackise. Jarvan, Noah se zase bojí moc. Hraje dušná, bojí se prostě jít in.
So far been a stellar game for them. Now we just start to see that old Giant X creep in again, where they just try and bite off a little bit more than they can chew, and it's a good turnaround by KC there to get a kill back.
And it's important to know just how vital every single win you can get is in this sort of format. You get 4 series. 4 best of 3s to prove you're in the top 4.
Teď vysvětlil ten nový formát, který já taky nechápu, jenom abyste věděli.
After seeing Na'Vi yesterday, I think they'll be looking at that and saying, okay, we're definitely going to get 3rd or 4th. But if you can beat KC, can you push yourself up to 1st and 2nd, get a bye through the first round of playoffs? There's a lot of hypothesization, however you want to put it.
Je tady někdo, kdo chápe ten format? Já už jsem ho pochopil.
But it is a very strong start for them. I am still worried about their team fighting. I'm still worried about whether or not if in a pure 5v5, KC meet them, they'll be actually able to win. But they've done a really good job of finding picks and not forcing the 5v5.
Yeah, like even with that one kind of
vůbec nevím, že je nový formát, ok. Jak je na tom Ori, 1600 goldásků, to je furt dobrý, to je furt hodně dobrý.
KC should be the ones that are kind of dictating the pace of the map.
Vysvětluj, ne. Prostě jsou group stage a hrajou jenom ty týmy proti v těch skupinách proti sobě. A pak první, druhý má jakoby bye v playoff, že nehraje jednu sérii, že ve winners bracketu a ty ostatní jsou v losers bracketu. A ten poslední tým je out, že není ani v playoff. Řekl jsem to správně? A jsou 2 skupiny, jasně. Jo, jsou 2 skupiny, no.
Happy as Larry, as they say, as we see KC trying to push in towards this top side to answer the pressure from bot.
Má flash? Nemá flash.
No flash on him with the realm warp chasing forward.
Jackie on side lane.
Good shot.
Sekej, Tranlo, sekej. Máš flash? Tranlo nemá flash. To je jedno, sekej. 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 Bom. Zabije ho. On nechá Trandlovi kill. Výborně. Výborně, Jun je smurf. Jenom si pojistil, aby to dostal Izma s tím flashem. Raf. Bac.
Nice turnaround by Giant X. KC thought they saw their window where everyone in Giant X invested on bot side so they could attack the
Okay, ale kdo získal ten shutdown z Oriany?
Giant X just about able to get back in time and keep them in check. Now, you still see the tower going down in bot
Jak je na tom
side,
Gwen?
which is
Ještě
nice,
furt
'cause
nemá
when you
2
look at the
itemy,
actual
okay.
state of the towers, you're gonna have mid lane tower falling
Oni
very,
budou
very
forsovat
soon, but
Atakana nebo
now
Draka?
Atakan
No Atakana,
available,
to
Giant X
bylo,
back out onto the
no.
map.
It feels like an Arcon rush.
To je nebezpečný, to bych neforsoval toho Atakana. Casey byli na, doufám, že Casey koukali na MSI a ví, že se musí fightit Atakan, že Atakan prostě fightíš no metr od... Pozorný to, kde je Jarvan tu není celou dobu, aha. Aha. Nice. Gwen in, výborný calling. Kamo, no a tam, ej bro, no a tam... Když má zabít Kalisteho, tak tam umře, tak toho, já jsem úplně dostal brainlag z toho, co udělal, no a... Týpek, když má zabít, vole, Ezreala, tak ho nezabije, bojí se jít in a potom, když tam vzali Atakana, mají do piče, tak tam dešne a umře. A prohraje hru. No, a je dog shit. Ok, kde oni zaultil Jackies? A je on zaultil na Niko, jej. Tady měli vzít Atakana a pálit do piče, dívej, tohle jako to byla výhra, že Alistar tady noknul Niko, to bylo krásný. Tady dobrý kaleng a jít do piče, teď okamžitě pryč.
But now Yike is back on and it's just a two-man knock-up into a beautiful cataclysm. And
Jun zahrál jak pán, Jun je dobrý, no.
much damage on the backline.
Giant trying to pull off a heist there. Did get the Arcon, there'll be 30
Jun je jailnutej, no, prostě nemá dobrý tým nikdy.
1.5k worth of stats. It's a pretty substantial sum, but Carmichael.
Proč není stream na YouTube? Dostávám copyright strike na YouTube furt. Riot mi 3 měsíce slibuje, že vyřeší copyright, abych nedostával copyright. A zatím to samozřejmě vyřešili K-Drillovi a na mě serou. Takže K-Drill může streamovat na YouTube a nedostane copyright strike. Malej nepodstatný rozdíl, K-Drill má 100 000 diváků, já třeba 500, no. Takže to chápu, že na mě serou. Ale mohli by mi whitelisnout ten YouTube channel, když mi to říkají 3 měsíce, že to udělají. Tak GG. Oh můj bože. Ty pičo. Where are the Targamas haters? Where are the Targamas haters? Kamola Niko 4-5 je illegal? Jak to, že to Ezreal Niko... Okay, dívej, jak ho najde, dívej, jak to najde. Jednak Kaliste strašně pěkně poukuje. Hraje Kaliste výborně do Ezreala a pak Targamas bam, do flashu, do Jarvan, ultimátky a komba na 4 lidi, čus. Tady jsem. Ale early game hrali dobře, tyjo, Giants. Problém je furt Noah furt neumí hrát, nebo nerozumí videohře. Má špatný split second decisions, Noah. Jun hraje výborně, Jackies hrál překvapivě dobře, ale zase se nechal odchytnout na sidelane, když neměl Thunder spely, to je klasika. 2krát dokonce mám pocit.
KC are in dominant control of the game.
And I think this is really where Targamas has started to shine.
Hra supportů? No way, support so broken. Wow.
We saw it yesterday in the Rel as well. He looked fantastic. Now this on the Nico too. KC gonna be very, very happy with that one. And with a minute now until Baron, they can start to push these waves, start to use their composition a little bit more, but crucially get that vision.
Teď máš prostě Ezrealka, co je nesmrtelný, a Jax, co má Zoniu.
Gaining vision control so important when you're looking for comps that have these big AoE setups. KC will clear out the vision on this top side, as you say, Baron up in about 40 seconds or so.
Chat, už jste viděli nový YouTube video z Match Areny? Kozol si hraje s editem, aby to bylo nice and smooth.
For Giant X, scrims a thing of distant memories now. The stage feels different, it seems, as they are relegated to Just trying to walk back through their jungle, no camps up, just gain a
Ne, tak až se budete chtít zasmát, tak se můžete podívat. Mage Arena je Game of the Year. Je to něco, je to indie Game of the Year, Imo. Něco jak Little Company.
You're a relatively squishy team for KC, so maybe you can find that combo of your own and make it work, but it is definitely difficult. KC is just so much easier to execute with this, but you can see what Giant X are looking for. Just hide on.
Po lecku zahrajem hoďku Mage Areny. Hoďku nebo hoďku a půl. Po hoďce už to není tak funny, ta hra, a bolí mě hlasivky, protože řvu jak debil.
KC now into that 1-3-1, and this is where this composition really shines. So difficult to actually deal with the Rise on a side lane. And with that Jax
Ezreal.
Isma and Lotta gonna look for him.
Zonia na Ryzeovi, Zonia na Jaxovi.
Dash away, dodges the pillar, and then immediately walks back in.
Nechci být zlej, ale hoďte tam ručí. Dlouho nebyla Golf Mafia. Tyjo, Golf Mafia podle mě furt probíhá, akorát od té doby, co jsem začal vyhrávat ten Golf with Friends, tak už nejsem zván takzvaně.
It's the quintessential problem playing against a team that has more TPs or has more globals than you. Every time you take a fight, you can just very rapidly be outnumbered, and that's what Giant X now have to try and navigate over the next.
Hrají lately, končíš moc brzo v 10, teď hrají hororovky. Okay.
Which is something that Na'Vi only just about managed to do yesterday, so credit to them. They do have 2 Drakes to 2 Drakes as well, so if they can manage to pick up a third and get themselves onto that.
Ale Honza něco chystá, to bude zábava potom.
The problem is, Windows so far being rapidly slammed on their fingers by KC.
Yeah, what I'd really like to see them do is pop a. Sorry, one second.
Jo, teďka dobrý schedule, chodím spinkat brzo, vstávám brzo. Lítni to za 500. Money is tight, you know.
You can kind of tell basically, has he gone over towards the main crew, or do we have a little bit of time? Because if he has to walk the whole way up and around by the back of the Dragon Pit, it means that then you kind of have
7000 gold advantage už, jo.
And then start to teeter over towards the rest of your team, but at the moment, I think the focus is going to be Dragon.
Dokoukáš to mezi hrami, co YouTube video? Ne, jsem nabejtil teďka 3 minuty, jsme se dívali na to YouTube video, abych nabejtil diváky, aby šli na ten YouTube se podívat.
Argument they cleared out enough vision. Bly's just starting up the Baron himself. No vision there right now for Giant X, but they have an inkling that something's going on as they immediately start to run across.
Nejdůležitější je watch time na tom YouTube, oni musí sledovat co nejdelší dobu to YouTube video. Čím delší dobu, čím větší procento toho videa vidí ty diváci, YouTube diváci, tak tím víc to pušuje algoritmus. Lajky, komentáře nejsou tak důležitý už. Reálně to je irrelevantní, like and komentáře. Ale furt to pomáhá trošku, třeba je, ale 20% třeba. Nebo 30. Ale 70% je ten.
I'd love to see the replay of the like 30 seconds before it happened, because I think Noah and Jackie's were.
Ale Giants jo, jako vypadali dobře. Jsem na ně zvědavý, tu další hru. Ale furt tam jsou ty problémy Noaha a Jackiese, no. Jackies na sideline inky a Noah prostě inky fighty.
For KC, they pick up their 3rd dragon of the game. Collapse happening towards the top side with the realm warp coming in.
Když nás nezajímáš, tak si to máme pustit na 20 minut a odejít. Real. Jestli mě jako chcete nějak podpořit, tak si to prostě puste puste si celý video a můžete to mít, podle mě to můžete mít i mutlý ten audio. A pušne to na algoritmus.
Like, it is kind of the slow bleeding for Giant X right now. There's just so little that they can do.
I'm gonna say it's pretty quick bleeding. Like, this is exsanguination.
Well, I mean,
if we're
you are
talking
the doctor,
about.
so I'm gonna trust you on this.
You need some sort of bandage, put a tourniquet on, and just hope. At this point, I don't know where Giant X are gonna cut off the circulation, because their camps keep spawning. They keep trying to get waves, and every time they do, they seem to be in asystole.
it's also the safety defense mechanisms that have come through, because you got Zhonya's here, you got Zhonya's here, you got a GA here. So even when you're looking for that potentially big Orianna ult to come through, I mean, you could, despite Lot being 2 levels down, you can see how much damage he was actually able to do in some of these fights, but it just means there's so much safety. Jackie,
Počít zase, když zapustím 5krát celé, nevím kámo. Jakoby to už nevím. Ale klipy z toho, z Match Areny, jsou ostrý, no. To je hra stvořená na klipy. Casey dobře hrajou z vizí. Ale Casey hrajou strašně jakoby... Mají co dokazovat, nechcou si nechat utíct ani jednu hru. Počítá se YouTube Premium, z YouTube Premium máš nejvíc peněz, no. Ty vole, pozor, Freeman, šokovej, Freeman, džunkvéčko, ale nestačí to zatím. Já, není to, už jsou 10 000 je 10 000, no, tohle bylo fakt dobré. Ne, Twitch Turbo a YouTube Premium funguje následovně. Ty máš strašně moc velký peníze, když tě sledujou ty lidi, co mají Twitch Turbo nebo Premium YouTube. Máš mnohem víc, než když shlednou všechny reklamy. YouTube Premium je velmi dobré. Jak pro ty diváky YouTube Premium, tak i pro content creatory. Kana je moc dobrý, Kana chtěl tam něco udělat. Už mu to vadilo, že má 5000 gold advantage, tak tam skočil in. Já nestreamu na YouTube teďka, Forrester, ne, já mluvím všeobecně o YouTube. Ty vole, to bylo dobré, no, on schoval tu Orianna ball ve zdi a potom to dal do creepu, takže to špatně vidíš, tu Orianna ballu.
So much of that damage ends up missing. I think if you had Lot there, maybe you can get the needlework slow across everyone, and that could actually be the difference maker.
Okay.
But the shockwave.
Onto Target, he's going to use the rocket belt to try and get away. He can't escape the clockwork wind up coming out from Jackie.
Našel ho. Ale jako... No. Nic moc to, udělá to delay o 40 vteřin, no.
Not entirely sure.
Stejně je tam Ocean Soul, kterou oni budou chtít hrát a Barona a pak finishnou hru. Jackie hraje dobře, Jackie hraje vždycky dobře, jen prostě se nechává často odchytnout na sidelane, nebo ve fightu udělá nějakou, před fightem udělá nějakou chybu, nebo víš, že se nechává hrozně odchytávat. Ale hraje dobře. Okay, dobrý, skoro dobrý kuhlík. Jun ho má, no a byl trošku ztracený, kam má jít. Kana žije, ok. Splitli.
To manage to extricate his team from Giant X's clutches.
That's a flash on Yike and Vladdy now gone though with Dragon Soul in 40 seconds. So I'm curious how confident Giant X are feeling to actually try and take this next fight. The only thing, like, there's a lot of focus from KC on towards this bottom side, but I really don't think that's where they should be putting their focus. I think at this stage you are strong as a 5-man unit to just walk up and take that top.
Ale fakt jako hrajou strašně jako clinically ty KC. Víš, že to je takový jakoby, takový clinical game style je docela boring pro většinu lidí. Že oni prostě hrajou pomalu a hrajou tak, aby neudělali žádnou chybu. Že prostě volí si fighty, hrajou strašně dobře s vizí. A vemou teďka Barona nebo Draka, zatímco Kana tady bejtí. Kana to ale přebejtil. To byl huge misstep. Nemají ta... Cancel base. Baron. Uvidíme, tady bude fight. Ale tohle zatím vypadá dobře pro Giants. OK, nevermind. Casey Ezreal tady dá 1v9. Jak je in? OK, ty vole, Ezreal back. Wow. Trundle to má. Dobrý kam, nebo dobrá, velká chyba od Kany. Velká
with
chybka.
a sliver of HP
Co je?
gets away.
But Giant X get what they really wanted, right?
Nevím.
Yes, you end up losing that tower on the
600,
bottom side, but
700.
the inhibitor still sticks around. You end up getting that Baron, and that might just buy
Ty
you
vole,
enough time
nebudu
to
ti
get
dávat
a
goldy,
third
já taky
item coming
potřebuji
through
nějaký
for
goldy v
loss.
Runscape,
Also,
vole.
Jackie's been able to finish off now a bit more too. Like, it's a little sloppy, but they're kind of holding on.
Yeah, they did a
Pohřetí
great job
tam dám
holding on. I
Feathers
thought Vladdy
goldy,
would be able
okay?
to push in quicker, and I thought if people
A nemusí
recall
to
to
poslat
try and
nějak
deal with
poštou?
him, Giant X would lose the fight, but they win out the fight.
Kamo, mě židákuje jak o jídlo, tak o nájem, tak o energie, tak i o in-game goldy v RuneScapeu ve videohře. Kámo, Tomáš je definice pijavice. Kam se hrabe Vojtěch s jeho židismem. Tomáš je, vole, next level. Tomáš, kdyby streamoval, tak je ve Forbesu number one. Number one streamer. Ve výdělkách.
You may not get full value out of this, so for Giant X, I think you're pretty happy with that trade in general.
Right now, they're trying to continue the trade in their favor, their third tower of the game.
Okay, z 13 000 goldů na 7,5. Kdo má lepší late game? Giants.
Lot will be able to take a tier 2, 700 gold in infusion.
Tohle je jako, ale toto je...
The red blood cells and we're pumping them into them. As Giant X's bleeding has been
To byl škyt, jo, jenom byste věděli, co se stalo. Jsem si škytnul a u toho jsem len posral. Tomáš má peníze z Fnatic coachingu. Má dost peněz, ale prostě židákuje mě.
And that's Rabadon death cap.
6,5. Gwen, až bude mít death cap, tak to bude šíleně dobré. Jako Giants to můžou vyhrát tenhle hru. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Casey to měli šlápnout na ten pedál trošičku víc a hlavně Kana to neměl naintit.
Yes, it's a lot of gold, but it's not going to do a huge amount here.
TP coming in as Casey looks
Co uvidí se co ten, no. Co ta Ocean Soula. Gwen potřebuje tu ten dev cap, aby jako dala outskill. Ještě nemám.
Was having a mosey, having a gander. Vladdy spotted by the control ward. Giant X maybe playing for this red, but choke points aren't their friend, especially against the pot blossom. Isma stepping in and just deleted.
Kana inti trošičku. Tohle možná deep, to je možná deep, to je možná moc deep. Ne, Lucian nemá flash? Proč flashuje tak late? Proč flashnul tak late ten Lucian? Neklenznul nic, flashnul zase Noah, vole, zase Noah prostě.
And you said it earlier, Rob. Giant X, they had good games and then they just aklimatický end, kdy prostě oni to comebacknou a potom Noah to nebo Isma to naintí a Noah to naintí. Kdy prostě Noah může okamžitě klenznout, flashnout i pryč a mít HPčka a nějakým způsobem jako ještě to přežít, ale ne, Isma to poslal nejvíc. Isma prostě, kámo, replace Isma fast. Step up to his inhibitor towers. Good shockwave in the end, but it doesn't matter. KC, they had a couple of mishaps and mistakes in the mid game, but in the end, they still remain victorious. 1-0 up in the city.
As well, that ban is misfortune.
Oh, MF. Okay.
On the KC.
Currently undefeated here in
Nevíš, že láska se nemá hledat, to přijde samo. To je možný, ale já bych si rád zapíchal.
Kámo, koze!
All sprinting up towards this top side. Looking to see perhaps if Kana oversteps, if they can get a flash out of him early doors, but Kana's down in the bottom lane right now, so it's going to be much ado about nothing, as neither of the teams will meet up.
Yep, so everyone's just going to back away. Looks like they're going to place a ward there.
Za každý další alert minus 5% z YouTube revenue.
Flock can maybe play a little bit more aggressive up into that top push and catch Kana out on the level 1 with the decimating smash, but either way, I think this is going to be a relatively slow game anyway. Maybe you can get some action in towards the mid lane for Yike, but overall I think it's just going to be a case of wait to scale up and see how we can try and use lane pressure to get some of these early objectives.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see any of that early dragons that we've been seeing across the last few series. Worf, worf.
6
Ja,
minutes
ja.
or so.
Bon
We saw the
appétit.
first one
Oeh.
taken down. KC have been on the ball, on the timer for those as well in their first couple of games. It looks like Yike has a tiny lead. He pinged a ward, so he's 5 gold ahead in the jungle right now, Rob. Maybe it will balloon into something else. The early 5 gold. Didn't go for the pot as well, which... Oh, actually, Targamas ahead as well. 10 whole gold lead here for KC.
I think it's
Mletý hovězí, rýže a zeleninu.
I do like the don't take a pot in the jungle strat. It means that you can go back, get your pickaxe a little bit earlier. If you manage to get a kill early on as well, you've got 1,100 gold, you can go for the
Budeme na drám potom, ale najím se
Often
prvně.
we do see the pickaxe early on from our junglers. If you're going
Všude se fajtí, ale hlava jedna.
Eclipse or something, but Thunder Sky probably on the min for both of these junglers.
The only thing I'm a little curious about is if it actually ends up, because you've got push on bottom side, if it now gives Isma a little bit of an opportunity to try and play for a window into that bottom side, playing off of bot lane pressure, just because you don't have the, you don't really need the pot, but it's still nice to have that little bit of HP and even the regen in an early fight. So I'm curious if Isma does try and make something happen, but you can see Vladdy there getting that ward down will spot out that whatever Isma starts to get up to.
Yeah, he'd have to take a longer route round. Could just like hard force it. Just go in, invade, say, okay, we're going for it, but doesn't really have push in mid lane right now. Wind becomes lightning across the wall, will be spotted. He steps into the vision range of that ward. Yike already on his wolves, so unlikely to see any of that early invading happening from either of these two junglers.
Yeah, and I think this is, again, just going to continue. It's just going to be a nice, easy sailing. Well, everyone
To máš je vlastně jako Phenom Tex, jo jo. To je hodně chytrý. Akorát, že Phenom žere jenom jídlo, to má žere všechno.
Jinx pushes in, first 4 waves, crashes, resets, pick up cold, and then immediately come back into that bottom side. And it means that then Aphelios has to push in bot to try and match really quickly to get the cold match.
Or go top, because the Scion can survive a little bit easier into the 2v1 matchup than the Cassante can. So Noah going to be perhaps gifted some solo XP and gold. He will be for a little bit. The question is whether or not Jun will then join him on that top side. See Targamas and Kalis having to push out that extra wave, only now getting their recall timers off. But Targamas, I think, was his recall stopped there for a second by the Scion? Looks like it was a little bit later. A TP coming out from Kana to match, as we will have both the bot laners heading up towards that top side. Ooh, Kana's gone Cull on the Cassante. Not something we too commonly see, but knows it's, you know, it's a handbags fight.
Exactly,
no one's doing any damage to anyone up towards this top bottom side now.
Yeah, all you want to do is just try and get, again, it's just scale as much as possible. Cole going to be matched there for Kalista as well. The slow push though, this is where it gets curious. So I think with the slow push that Noah on the top side, he could actually then go for a reset
sračka a měli to nerfnout už 3 měsíce, kurva.
Giant X are going to try and play for, and this is kind of the value you can get by having the Jinx here, and when she gets that initial first push, maybe Yike tries to move up here to disrupt it, or at least to try and protect it.
Riot, nějaký Riot balance týpek je fanoušek Bowser, prostě to není možný.
It's also why Targamas use a control ward in the pixel bush there to make sure that there's a little bit of threat, there's a little bit of doubt in the mind of the Giant X's bot lane. Lot here trying to proxy, unable to do so. I think Kana did lose a few minions here. Minion blocked on his way back out. Noah with Isma and Jun in the area to reinforce him. Should be able to get the push out here, and then does look like Lot is still pathing out towards bot. So no secondary exchange of lanes from Noah and Jun.
But that's the important part here for KC, was just trying to keep Noah and Jun here, because if they crash, they're able to move, but now you're in a position where Kalista would actually been a great spot to shove back out. You'd end up losing too much CS, and Giant X have to keep the lanes in the way they're on. And I mean, Lot's been pretty happy. He's kind of just able to avoid Kana's damage, get another wave for himself, got the reset through as well. Getting a play for himself, not going to be too shabby either.
And Kana can just proxy this, knowing that Isma was on the top side a couple of moments ago. There's no threat on him. He's about to go over towards that level 6, as is Lot. Mid lane, not really too much happening here. Vladdy has a very slight CS lead. Jun is looking for a gank, but Vladdy, you've got to cross the veil, which he uses. You've got the weirding for movement as well, and even the Between Two Worlds ultimate as well to escape. Aurora, not the easiest champion to gank.
So I was trying to spot where Kana put his ward, because he ended up going in for to get him behind the turret. Place the ward in the lane to try and spot if Noah and Jun were trying to move back into this bottom side, because you can kind of see it's like Noah and Jun dictating where they want to go.
Ten si dělá, co chce, invade jungle.
Bottom side and look for the dragon, but instead, basically looking for a moment for Jun to try and put pressure on towards mid, and they're kind of happy, it seems like, to just avoid all contact with that bottom half of the map and just play for a push and plates.
Yeah, there's the option as well to slow push this wave, then reset, use the unstoppable onslaught from Lot to catch the wave as it pushes back out, and then have your bot lane down towards that bottom side to play for the Drake. Like we have seen a lot of those early Drake forces. We saw it in game 1 here, we saw it from KC a lot yesterday. Neither team wanting to do it here, and it is partly compositional. You talked about both teams just wanting to get towards those first items. Also partly just about how you feel in the lanes. Like at the moment, Noah and Jun seem to be happy enough dealing with Kalista and Targamas on top, and Lot seems to okay with Kana.
We're just keep him as a both mid laners unsure. Well, at least for Jackie, he's kind of considering going for the reset, but happy to just stick around and try and get some poke damage back on towards Vladdy. Ult's used by Jackie's just to try and get a chunk out of Vladdy, so then they can get control. But KC now with the push on top moving.
We saw Lot doing a similar thing down towards the bottom side. Nice lantern there. Yike will be able to steal away the blue, gets level 6 first. Isma actually might. I don't think the Gromp gives him enough experience for 6, and there is a Gromp fight that could happen in about 40 seconds, so it might actually be really substantial that Yike was able to steal away that blue.
Yeah, and I like that KC are looking for these angles, because it's when the Infernum is there for Kalist, that's where you can actually look for the trade, but Noah's face check.
Alright.
Noah has straight into Kalist, trying to trade back, but
To bylo dobré.
Severum and Crescendum there for
To není
Kalist.
nějaká
Really want
akce.
to trade into. Isma did hit 6 off the Grump, so he just had enough experience to tick over. Grub's up in 13 seconds, and with Noah so chunked out, he's going to have to back away. Lantern down. Jun wisely holding on to the crash down there before the play.
But this is a big mistake from Noah, because, well, I thought Kalist was going to stick around, because you've got red-white, you can do a ton of damage to those structures and actually get some of the turret plates, but it looks like Void Grubs instead is going to be their main focus, but that could have been just a massive, well, what's already a decent goal lead for Kalist, ballooning hugely.
Good ward as well here from KC to know that Isma is going for the Drake. It's the expected trade. We're on the Grubs. Your bot laner was just forced out. He's had to run back towards bot, so then you can take the Drake away. But because they had the ward down, Vladdy and Targamas can be a nuisance. Grand Starfall is available for Yike. 2 Grubs already picked up. Yike looking for the engage here, comes down. Doesn't really find anyone. Jun forced back down low. The engage though, immediately Jun diving in, and KC caught all unawares with the unstoppable onslaught coming out as well. Yike's gonna fall 2. It's 2-0 in favor of Giant X.
KC should not have tried to overforce there.
Dva. Zase vyhrávají early game, ale.
Back in towards his bottom side, so it's always going to be a number advantage for Giant X in the play. And even then, KC just got blown up the second they looked into that river.
Yeah, you could see like the whole.
Ale stejně jsou even a mají 3 gruby, takže to není zase tak velký problém. Ale jak se to stalo, jsem dával pozor. KC engagenou, misnou dost všechno a Isma tam je s Zinem. A je tady 5 lidí, zatímco Aphelios se na topu. To čumím, že to engageovali, tyjo. Když nemají apíka.
You just go for the Void Grubs and then turn up towards topside with those red-white guns, right? We already kind of talked about how quickly you can take it, and suddenly you're 2 plates up, you're matching the objectives, and your Aphelios then just becomes a major threat in the maps. But now, giving that kill over,
Kozilaku to máš na streamách na Twitchi. A jaký svět hraje na RSku, nevím. Ale docela divný, že oni hrajou tu první hru celou hráli tak strašně safe a teďka engageovali, když měli Apheliose na topu.
The TP coming in from Targamas, he's on that unsealed spellbook madness once again, as is Jun. They have to keep our eyes out for whether or not they switch over to those.
Má rád teď náhradník, no, ve Fnatic.
Last patch only does 600 damage, and 900 damage. So at level 1, the smite is equal to Yikes and Ismas, but as soon as Yike and Isma get those treats in, it's not going to be equal.
No a Fig bude schopný zabít Siona. A Fig má hrozně velký damage, ta lanterna a trash všeobecně je strašně důležitý pro Apheliose. Jakože za mě a Fig má damage takovej, jaký by měli všechny ADčka mít, co nemají escape.
Má fakt raketu damage. Ale nemá vůbec escape, takže je nutný a nulový movement speed. Potřebuje toho Tedraši, aby hrál dobře. A snažil se ho zachránit. Tyhle, oni nemají damage, no, oni nemají damage. Isma tu je. Jinx ultimátka. Tyjo. To čumím, že nezabije. What? To čeho se tam dal? Nastakovanýho Panteona, nebo? Proč tam nejde? Isma. What? Kam ho 5-0, 5-0. 4-0. Ale furt jenom 1300 goldů s těma 4 kilama.
Fights in both of the solar laners' positions, but there's just nothing that KC can do. Giant just have more in the tank right now.
And a 2,000 or 1,600 gold lead Giant X.
Kozileku, my chcem hrát RuneScape, old school RuneScape, no. Ale v Česku není moc lidí, co by to sledovalo. Ale chcem to hrát. V zahraničí to jede jak svině, ta hra. Že všichni vovkaři to teď hrajou.
I love what Giant X have done in this early game as well. It's not about making sure that Noe is really fed. You can play
1500 goldásků, kde ty goldy jsou rozpoložený. To není dobrý. Ale Sion je 2-0, to je dobré. Ale vidíš, jak jsme řešili, že třeba 500 goldů má Real, 400 Anička, 400 Sion, to není tak dobrý, když jsou 2000 goldů na jednom, nebo 1500 goldů na jednom targetu. To je mnohem lepší. Ale Sion je nesmrtelný, je šíleně broken.
Crucially get some more of that gold with the Rift Herald in towards that Jinx, and like you can shift her in towards the mid lane and use that Rift Herald. I think you're just going to be able to start this snowball going, but again, we saw this from Giant X in the last
Afík tady bude huge podle mě, jako Aphelios má hrozně velký damage. Giants naštěstí mají Jinx, aby taky měli trošičku damage, protože ta Annie Zin Zao nemá dostatek damage. Nebo Zin má, ale Annie ne. Vidíš, nemají damage s tou Aničkou. 700 gólů na Afíkovi už, on jenom farmí a hraje, čeká na to, až bude mít 2 itemy, protože 2 itemy pár Spike je šíleně silný. Pokud pojede LDR second, což by měl na tom Afíkovi, měl by.
Yeah, I think it's
No, it just missed a mid. Like, he autoed the same minion 3 times and missed it. Come on, man. Like, there's a reason you finished your cold second.
He also missed the call.
Oh, God.
Progalátore, oni všichni vovkaři přišli na old school RuneScape, protože to je prostě nový content, co to všichni hrajou. A je to zábavný, lidi to baví. Je to nostalgie pro ty vovkaře, protože vovkaři jsou v podstatě hrozně vovkařů. Vovkaři jsou všeobecně starší audience. A hodně vovkařů, co hrálo vovko, tak hrálo i RuneScape, protože RuneScape jako by byl před vovkem. Anička má burst, ano, ale nemá jako... Má poškození, ale burst. O, ultimátka. Ty vole, ta je jako hodně deep. A, kam flashnul jak? Sion tu je taky. Další kilíček, další dráček.
Once again, full short. Yikes, 0-3-0 on this Pantheon.
Yeah, the Pantheon is not.
Jo, Yike, když hraje prostě Vine nebo Pantheona, tak to vypadá zle. Když hraje ty agresivní AD junglery. Proč má Jinx Kraken? Oni buffovali Kraken. Ale nevím, upřímně, Yuntal je mnohem lepší než Kraken mi přijde. Kraken je dog shit.
Sunfire, Cape, Kraken Slayer, Zeke's Convergence, that's not the sort of inventories you want to be looking at.
Kraken je buff, no však říkám, ale nemyslím si, že to má větší damage než Yuntal AI do tanku. Jo, neflashnul nic, ale. Běží tu Targamas, ajajaj. Dobrý, boj se. Kraken dává větší damage, má větší movement speed, nebo stojí míň, něco takového. Jaj. Ale misnul stun. Týpne out, to je smart, to je smart, to je smart. Tak, boty mají Giants, 1600 goldů.
Giant X just want to try and match for the tower play. Actually, he's going to reset now. I thought he was going to stick around and just try and look for the tower damage, but tower for tower, it looks like he'll probably be in the grand scheme of things, both the damage going across the tanks.
Tři gruby jsou furt pro Casey, ale hoši, to je blbý. To znamená, že v late gameu nebo v mid gameu, když vyhrál jeden fight, tak vyhráli. S těma grubama endnou.
They are in arrears in this early game. And now they need to find a way to get themselves out of it. They are getting first items themselves, you know, collected Leandry's Frozen Fist.
Jo, Hohlík teďka napsal, co dělali Krakenovi, že je levnější a že mu buffli damage.
The early sequence of this game, because it's not even, like, Giant X have outplayed them, but not so substantially that KC should be 5.
Sion ulti, bam. Bude tam ty dvojka, charge. Ne, jede na bot. Drift, Tokyo Drift, Tokyo Drift. Brian IRL drifting. Uka? Dobré, dobré. Dvě turetky, nice. To spavne tolik těch grubů, to je šílený. Ujojoj, Kana, nevím, jestli tu chce bejt, Kana. Ty vole, halo? What? Santa 1v2, prostě choose, bro. PP Vlady, okej. Ajajaj. Isma flash. Dobrý dočas Vladyho. Dobrá Panton ultimát. Ajajaj. Co pak kozle? Tohle je poslední série, jo. Tohle je poslední série a potom jdeme na Mage Arenu na hoďku a půl max. A já potom dám asi stream off a podívám se na One Piece anime. Nebo bych mohl zahrát lolko. Ale spíš dáme Mage Arenu, potom možná RuneScape. Mage Arenu a RuneScape s Tomášem a potom lolko dáme jindy. Ale na nás zase sere. Jak na vás seru? What?
The Pantheon doesn't ult, Kalista and Targamas just turn around and it's 3v2 and you're going to die in that situation. So, really well done from KC to manage to pick up a couple of kills there, but they are still in a deficit.
Ale tu Grounded 2, chtěli byste, abych to dohrál bez Kapese, když Kapes nebude hrát tu Grounded 2? Mně se to celkem líbilo.
In my estimations, that slow so powerful as that buff is pulled back. The stun onto Yike Blast Cone gets him to safety for now. He will have to forfeit his red buff. That Bramble back will go into the hands of Giant X.
Fenomenální boomer content, ty to nechci diváky o prázdninách, nebo? No, mý diváci jsou starší, mají rodiny a o prázdninách jezdí na dovolený a jsou s dětma, anebo s lidma, víš? Právě, že zoomer content je o prázdninách OP, nebo zoomeři nic nedělají, jsou jen za počítačem.
It's just one of those days, guys, okay? CSing is hard.
This is why we lost MSI.
Is that the excuse we're going to use? Chovy just chose.
Víš, že většinou to spíš takhle je v tom.
100% makes sense. As Giant X try to set up control around this Drake that's spawning KC and nowhere
near 1300k, 1300. 2-0 Sionek. On jede Ice second. LDR by bylo podle mě lepší na tom Afikovi. On možná ale nemaxuje ten armor pen na Afikovi, proto jede AI. Atakan za draka, třetí drak. Tady Sion ult. To ještě můžou fightit, ne? Proč neultil na tutu? To by je vyděsilo. Tady měl ultit. najít to tam, si dělá ten lot. Kupuje čas, Jun se snaží engagenout, našel ten engage. Bam! Tibbers! Freeman Tibbers! Bam! Ale žijou. Jdi, flashuj, nemůžeš. Ty Viral to našla. Ale ten lot se moc bojí podle mě. Lot tady měl zaultit, jenom aby vyděsil týpky. Tady hned flashne out, což mi přijde úplně jako I guess, okay. Jun se toho nebojí, Jun jde in, kámo, Jun jde in. Freeman, Jackie's flash, Tibbers Freeman. A Noah nedostal pasivku, jinak by zamřel i Ike, no. To je dobré. Tak Afik teďka nemá flash, což je důležitý. Kdo má flash? Isma má flash, aby engageoval, jo. Arel bude mít flash. Afik nemá summoner spely, Trash nemá měli by fightit. Giants by teď měli forcovat fight jak svině, kámo. Mají 3 draky, 2000 goldu advantage. Vlady nemá flash. Čiom prst měli být dobrý, tady měl být mrtvej, ok? Je mrtvej, anyway. Díky bohu za Vardu. Ale ta Varda na lanternu je tak dogshit, to by nemělo fungovat. Ale dobrý catch jak svině. Jun zahrál. Však auto atakoval, jakože nedostal pasivku. Možná do štítu se to nepočítá. 3500 goldů, 3 draci, 50 do barona a do draka. Tady to vypadá hodně dobře. Rel má flash, Isma má flash, měl by forcovat fight top mid, otevřít, deep wardnout a forcovat každý fight, co vidí. KC teď nemůžou nic. Sion je nesmrtelný, protože Aphelios nešel LDR. Jun to forcuje, Jun ví, kámo. Vidíš to? Jak je chytrej? Prostě forcni jakýkoliv fight, je to irrelevant. Forcni i špatný fight a vyhraješ. Ty ten Kraken PD teďka dostal. No tak to ne, vole. Kurva, to ne. Pane bože! S tím pičauko. Někdo se mi tady zesral, totálně. Já to nebyl, chat, já to nebyl. Tak a minuta 30 Baron a minuta 30 Soula, to by mělo být free win. Oni nemají absolutně damage, Aurora, já nevím ty evropský Aurory, já nemám rád Evropany, co hrajou Auroru, oni to nehrajou agresivně enough. A neumí to hrát s fightem, protože je to těžký jako fightit.
Yeah, I think once you get to 3 items on this Jinx, just before these objectives are there, you should be in a pretty good spot.
Having a whale of a time so far. As we
Ty vole, lot. Nebojí se toho. Ale je to Sion nesmrtelný, takže hej, čeho by se měl bát. Co to je za hovno? OK, zase hej ale ten Jun ví, že se nemá bát a že má forcovat každý fight. Za to, jak je úplně ztracený a neví, že nemá fightit. Ty Beres, to je moc, to je posrali, actually toto. Jdou tak strašně deep zbytečně. Jackie se tam nechal engagenout. Kamo, proč jsou tak daleko? Proč jdou přes tu zeď? A co tam dělal Jackie, že šel k té zdi zas? Jaj, 10 vteřin do Barona, 10 vteřin do Draka, do Souly. Dívej, oni najdou, prostě nechte Juna hrát videohru a jenom followujte Juna. Nikdo jiný nedělejte playe, prosím. Už tady Jackie zde jako... Jo, on se... Ježiš, juj, on k té zdi nešel dobrovolně, on prostě dostal knock-up od Sandeho a hook. A nevím, proč Isma jde přes tu zeď taky. Soulička. Ne, tady ta Hextech Soula přijde useless, nevím proč. Prostě mi přijde useless. Jako je to dobrý pro Jinx tuhle hru, ale přijde mi to, že to je nejslabší Soula ze všech. Baron by měl být taky dán, jo, Kraken PD dává tak strašně attack speedu, to je šílený, dívej na ty Jinx, jak auto atakuje. Hraje se zítra, jo, Vitality hrajou zítra konečně, takže number one Vitality fanoušek. Musím najít tričko, kde mám. Má Pantheon flash? Má. To musí engagenout fight, nemůžou 50-50.
They will just flop their way back towards the mid lane.
Yeah, especially when Yike has the Grand Starfall flash as well to get into the pit. It would always be a little bit of a risky 50-50 with the Lantern to get him back out.
Tyjo, Kalista má hodně goldu, je furt nic nekoupil. Tak bude mít postavený LDR za chvíli. Number one nemá ani dres Vitality, jsem to měl koupit. Ale já žiju v té domněnce, že se posílá ten dres. Ale asi nikdy nepřijde.
They don't have vision on the Baron right now. They kind of assume it's not happening as they put the Lantern down. They'll know for sure. Triple Oracle's alteration.
Kalista fakt jako má hrozně moc goldů. Jakmile Kalista bude mít LDR, tak konečně bude mít damage. A v ten moment můžou zabít Siona bez problému. On bude dávat rakety. Maty ho nikdy neposlal, ne, to měl posílat manažer Vitality. Ale Maty mi řekl, že má pocit, že to nikdy nepřijde.
Basically 3k behind the enemy carry. Annie's job, like she can carry a fight, but she doesn't do it via consistent DPS.
A teďka, až bude LDR a feed, tak bude silnější než Jinx, protože Jinx nemá AI. A má takový úplně, ten build tady, ten build na těch 3 itemech. Není to tak dobré. Čet, kdo vyhraje tuhle hru? Giants nebo Casey? Ale za mě měli forcenout fight Casey, teda Giants, dřív než bude mít LDR a Felios. Se mi tady nelíbí, že neforcou Barona a nesnaží se forcenout fight.
Need to feel a bit braver. The Kalista isn't in a position where he's actually the strongest.
Říká teďka Dagdar. Měli by fightit. Na co čekají Giants, kurva? Na to, až to zahodí někdo?
These small windows where KC are behind on big ticket items is when you can try and take those fights.
100% agree. I think the thing that probably plagues Giants X's mind a little bit is Isma getting caught at Razor Beaks in the last game, right? Like, you can talk about reset, go next, just play the game that's in front of you, but if it's in our minds, it's definitely in the players' minds that they have had it in, not the palm of their hands, but they had it close. The unstoppable onslaught's used by a lot to get away from the
Kam oni jsou posraně za ušima. Borci, týpek bude mít LDR a budete v piči. Proč mi přijde, že Jun je lepší než Targamas? No, protože je. Bro, halo. Dobré, konečně engage, vole, let's go. No konečně je to. No way, vole, Jackie's engage, well done, well done. Well done. Už jsem chytal nervy, že nic nedělají, kurva, že neengagujou. Tohle bylo dobrý od Jackiese jak svině. Mega good, mega good. To je free Baron díky tomu. Mega good, mega good, mega good.
That's going to be the easy setup then for Jackies to finish off.
And Giants X will get the Baron 30 minutes in, 12
to je mega good.
6.
Problém je teďka to LDR, no, na Afikovi. Afik je teďka mega silný.
Casey in game 1 needed a 5-man pop blossom to turn it in their favor. Here Giant X have been methodical. Yes, slower than it could have been, but still a patient, controlled
Ty vole,
to gain control of the map. As I say that,
oh, free man engage! Free man engage! To trošku přehnali. A Jinx sekej, reset. Dobrý Tibers. Oh, dobrá sáhnut! Ty pičo, let's go. Dobrý flash od Noaha, mega dobrý flash. Ale tyjo, cenil jsem Kalisteho, že flashnul na Noaha, snažil se ho one-shotnout. Kámo, dobře to tam sendnul Jun. To čo bolo? Hej, máme sérii. Máme sérii. Dobré. Galio je tady goated. Nechápu, že nezabanovali Galia, když mají Rumbleho. Giants zase draft if, Maria, oni piknou Giants piknou Rumble, Vi, Nautilus a 4-5 zabanou Wukonga a Ambesu místo Galia. No nic, Casey vyhrálo. Tohle je draft diff. Fanatic, hele, myslím si, že Fanatic budou hodně strugglovat, no. Ten tuto sezónu. Klid, prosím, kamarád chce. Bra. Bra. Zender, díky za blerpík. No way, Jackie vzal X od opata. Tady to ještě nikdo neví.
It is a bit of a different format, this split in the LEC. We're doing this group format with two separate groups. KC, Movistar, Giant X, Vitality and Na'Vi in one of the groups. Fnatic, G2, SK, BDS and
já posunu kamerku. Ale tak 65-35 draft pro KC. Za mě. Ten Galio Zaya je hrozně dobrý disengage do toho, co mají Giants. Kantrujete to aj Azir. No, to i víc, hele. 70-30 pro KC, protože to je tak dobrý team comp do toho engage, co má Giants. Ale klasicky, pokud budete chtít sledovat se mnou LECčko, tak my jsme hate watcheři Fnatic. My jsme oficiální hate watch Fnatic. Já chci, aby Crash and burnuli, abych si mohl pak číst Fnatic Reddit a mít popcorn na smáce. Hate watch KC to ne, to zase ne. Jenom hážu všechny svoje úspory na tým proti KC, když KC piknou Vi. A pak number one Vitality fanboys. Number one. Mají poslední šanci trenéři, aby neprohrávali drafty. Každý druhý draft od Vitality minulou sezonu byl lost v draftu. A jejich owner Vitality řekl, že jestli nebudou top 4 tuto sezónu, tak vyhodí celý coaching staff. Kámo, co se musí stát, aby byli dobrý koučové v League of Legends v Americe a v Evropě? A manažeři. My máme prostě jenom paychecking managers a paychecking coaches. Peníze. Jako asi real, no. To, co platí za almužnu, tak žádný dobrý coach to toto. Prej ten CEO nemá rád Karzio, co říkal Maty. to slyšel nějaký storky, no.
Both junglers are down on this bottom side though. There is a ward to spot out if Vi tries to come through River though, already placed, but potential here to try and make something happen is I think no one Jun wanted, yeah, try and freeze this wave out from away from the turret, so nicely done, but here's Isma.
Oh, flash, Sleduj flash engage od Ismy. First blood. To nechceš vědět, co vojí, která Q-flash námysne. No dobrý 3v3, no. Tady by měli vyhrávat, tyjo, Kork je silnější než Zaya. Rakany nám to nesplnuli, no. Polovina hráčů taky vypadá, že paycheckují. No oni se řeší paycheckeři u hráčů, ale problém v manažeře. Víš co, třeba paycheckeři u hráčů jsou 30%, že 30-40% hráčů paycheckuje. Bro, manažeři je 95% manažerů paycheckuje a koučové je tak 80% koučů paycheckujou. Dobré, to je, kozle, to je dobrý alert, OK, to je dobrý alert. Dobré, Ozi, díky za giftíka. Co myslíš paycheckem? Že se nesnaží, že prostě si odpracují si svoji část v ofisu a pak jdou chillovat. Pak si doma pustí nějaký, koukají na porno, honí si péro, koukají na Netflix, užívají si s e-girls, takový věci. Ale ty, že ze všech to giftnul Ozák, to je halus. Larsen už přestal paycheckovat, protože zjistil, že mu jde o job. Larsen už hraje dobře a snaží se, ale paycheckoval nejvíc, no, to bylo crazy. Ozák je najebanej, tak proto giftnu. Aha. Mechare, mám blerpy. A jsou aj levný jak blázen. Za 12 korun si můžeš pustit jakýkoliv blerp. Lot. Zvládne to. On to dodžnul. On to dodžnul. Jak to intuje?
Stuck where they're standing, Yike will fall.
I cannot believe that Lot managed to survive.
Proč Mára musí zůstat v Berlíně, aby dostával plat? To je podmínka.
I'm in shock. I mean, that was great. Like, the evolution of Lot is a story I am here for. Coming into the league, not being seen really as all that, but
více ex-pro play hráčů, co dali retire, by museli jít koučovat, například Perks a podobně. To jo, ale to nebudou dělat za ty peníze, co nabízí. Hodně ex-koučů nebo ex-hráčů by šlo trénovat, ale museli by prostě nabízet prachy za to, víš jak. Jinak si ti hráči budou chillovat, protože oni si jako nemusí nic dělat do konce života. Tak budou raději si užívat života. Okay, Jackie, jojoj. Okay, Galio ultí, to je moc brzo, Kana, moc brzo. Tak hraje komplet event v podstatě, tady bude záležet na to, kdo bude mít 3 gruby v téhle hře. 3 gruby jsou lepší pro KC než pro Giants. Ideální scénář je mít prostě 2 gruby, jeden tým, jeden grup. Třeba Giants budou mít 2 gruby nebo jeden grup. Pak je to v pohodě. Jen aby někdo neměl 3 gruby, no. Díky, že vydal nové video, o čem je? Se můžeme pak podívat, ale my dáme Mage Arenu. Na Mikýřovo video bych se podíval zítra až před LECkem.
A little bit ahead down towards that bottom side, but it's gone Carl, doesn't have the teleport, obviously, he's an AD carry, so won't be able to get back up here quickly enough really to join.
Okay, ideálně Giants by tady vzali jednoho grubíka aspoň. Jestli 2, tak pohodička. KC budou mít jenom jednoho gruba. Okay. V té hře se dlouho nebude nic moc dít s touhle situací, oba týmy se respektují, nechcou udělat chybu. KC scalujou. A hlavně KC potřebují Galio ultimátku, kterou teďka vyvejstili, a Azir ultimátku. Epstein, o tom je tvoje oblíbené téma, jako na to se podívám. Má jen 8 minut video, tak můžem kouknout. Já se těším na tu Major Arenu, ale... A mám čas jenom do 10 hřevat jako pavian.
I think it's mostly just trying to find a ways like in to make plays happen, because there's decent vision control in the river. Like, he's just been spotted, he cleared out one ward here, there's a ward here, there's another here. Kind of most of the entrances that he has to get into plays have already been covered, and you can see Jun now starting to change his trajectory to play around this mid lane with Isma to make sure that there is nothing happening towards Jackie's head.
Jackie's very safe as well with the quickness, right? The ability, even if you get knocked in with an Emperor's Divide, just to pop that charm up anyone that's on top of you. You then have Flash, Abscond, Abduct, Kingmaker, you can, Kingslayer, W, whatever it is.
Jo, dáme Mage Arenu po tomto zápasu hnedka. A pak když tak koukneme ještě na Mikyři videjko.
Ever so slightly ahead of Kalist. You can tell from the pink bars under the champion portraits on the right and left side of your screen. But I don't think either team is too sad with how this early game's gone. Casey, obviously, the botch dive didn't go too well for them. But
Giants chcou být proaktivní, tyjo, early game, no. Od 6 tak do 12, 13 chcou fightit, co nejvíc, co to jde, a hlavně nějak najít ty fighty, kde nebude Galio, no. Ale je to těžký pro Giants, těžký.
So they're kind of in a bit more of a fighting chance here, and they do have decent scaling. As they start to get up there, you have the Azir that should be in a decent spot. This Galio gets quite tanky as the game goes on. It's just nervous when you're playing against such a strong wombo combo coming through from Giant X. Just the ability to lock someone down and burn them through with the Rumble ult and having Jackie's follow up with another ult, which just makes it kind of
Ček, když se nic neděje, máte na mém Twitch channelu zapnutý notifications, mega důležité, abyste nemysnuli začátek streamu. Já jsem si to teďka povypínal a pozapínal na streamery, co mě zajímají a nezajímají. Isma? Halo? Počkej, TP, Galio TP, Tergamas to hledá? Isma bude mrtvej, ne? Nemá flash, určitě je mrtvej. Teď, aby zabili Juna aj. Ale to nezabijou asi, ne? Kana zkouší, ale ne.
trying to protect him, but now Jun might go down as well.
Okay, actually. Kolik misne Kana těch minionů tady? 2 vlny. Ale u Galia to tak nevadí. U Galia nevadí, když je behind. To bude víc než 2 vlny, to budou 2 plátečky. 3 vlny možná i dokonce. Však to stojí 6 euro jeden nákup, to je nějaký drahý, ne? Ne, já to mám za 50 bodů, Mejchare. 50 bodů je 12 korun. Přepočtu. 60 centů. Jackie se zase nechává odchytat, jako první v první hře. Puts down the feathers and Jackie's even with the Kingslayer won't heal up enough. 3-1 to KC.
Again though, it's sloppy mistakes. There was no need for him to be in the mid lane.
Často se nechávají odchytávat, no, nebo často se nechává Jackie odchytnout. Pískej to. Problém je ten draft, no. Jako normálně bych řekl, že to je v pohodě, ale ten draft je prostě 70-30 pro KC. To je tak strašně velký draft gap, kdy oni si nezabunou, oni mají full engage a nebanou Galia. A vemou Vi do 1-2, když tam je Zaya open. Rozumíš? Nechali se hrozně nabejtit. Jako Giants, aby vyhráli, tak buď v early mid gameu musí nacházet fighty, které budou hodně favorite pro ně bez Galia a vyhrávat je a feednout se. A nebo Casey musí fakt udělat velkou chybu v mid to late gameu. Víš, že se třeba Azir nechá odchytit, oni z toho budou mít Barona, něco. Nebo Zaya se nějak nechá, úplně to do intí. Je to složitý, no, teďka. Michale, co jsi tam prosím tě udělal? Michale, co jsi tam udělal?
Ballerina cappuccina. Mi. È la moglie di Cappuccino Assassino.
Which means that if he tries to contest the wave state at any point in time, it's really difficult.
Mejchane, ty jsi tam něco dojebal v tom blerpu. Ale já si ti nedivím, já jsem taky zmatený z těch blerpů. Kozel teďka posílá, ale blerpíčky. Je to hlavně
takže vítám všechny u mého prvního výlogu. Rozhodl
Proč to
jsem to
zní jak
udělat,
Vojta
protože
Louky?
to po mně chtěl někdo udělat ze blerpušku a pro mě je to lehká cesta sdělit své dojmy a názory z minulé události, která proběhla to mistrovství České
Kamo, to je, kdyby
republiky.
Vojtovi někdo šlápnul na koule.
Že patek jsme přijeli a přijeli jsme o něco později a tak o 25 minut později a zareagují storvali jsme se na vlastně vstupu do MČR.
Kámo, mě z toho bolí hlava.
Kolem krku, s fotkou a sníkem.
Dobrý. GG. Lidi přišli na...
modrokoulinku. Zase masturbuješ. Nadržené maminy v okolí 200 metrů.
Jsem chycen.
Vytáhni lofáze a jdi jim vytřít komín.
That far behind, it's 300 gold. It just the momentum of
Co
the
ti
game
jebe?
doesn't feel in their favor.
It's also just
GG. Tak aspoň, že vy blerpujete, když se v té hře nic neděje. Čet, nejde nic. Nadržené maminy v okolí, to prostě to nejde odolat.
Targamas with a good reset timer should be here to protect any sort of play, and it looks like Giant X knows, so they're just going to back away.
Já musím vypnout já tam musím povolit ty blerpy jenom za ty beatsy. Ne, beepy, a ne bitsy. Ty bity na Twitchi jsou skemík. Mám pocit.
I'm pretty sure see that ward go down. Because it was Jackie's trading with Targamas when that ward was placed.
Yeah.
Maybe because it wasn't pinged, they thought it had just expired. Or maybe they just didn't realize that Targamas had placed the ward at the time. They know Isma's here.
Normálně ta audience začala tleskat, že se nic neděje, aby tam aspoň se něco dělo.
In the darkness, and you can see Yike beginning to collapse with him. The ward goes down. Targamas laying the trap, baiting it out. Yike comes into the bush as well. Now Giant X realize, oh, it's a 3v3 if we do decide to take this Barney. Jun's the one to step forward. They go for Maddie, sees an assist, not on the equalizer, even with the depth charge follow-up. Targamas with a great charm, double TPs. It's Jackie's who joins first, steals away.
Ty vole, Galio tady, misnutý Jackie's scanner ult, to je písky to. Písky to. A nezvanšotli toho Vladyho, který ho... Zkoušeli ho najít, ale musí ho vanšotnout.
There's a couple of whiffs on some key spells throughout that, but KC...
Ojojojojojoj, tady jako problém je, že Giants musí něco forsovat a musí vyhrávat. KC stačí jenom AFK farmit.
Celá Twitch scéna a taky stále jsou buzinanti.
Hej! To kdo poslal? Permaban.
Two Drakes in their pockets, mid lane turret their next target.
And KC looking good with a lead, like the flash here from Vladdy's good. Yike ends up missing with the impale. There was a little bit of a desync between him and Targamas, but the TP was way too far forward from Jackie's. He kind of has to throw out the impale and hope for the best, but removal bot
Lot
side.
might die as well. The Rift Tower's coming in. Targamas looking for the grand entrance. There's no flash now for Lot. Rift Tower charging around the corners. Jackie's.
Jackie je v situaci, kdy bude forsovat všechno. Už je to takový ten, on ví, že ta hra je lost. Zkouší to. Zkouší to. Už bude Magic Arena, až vyhrajou KC teďka.
And the top side is still being pushed by Kana. You were the ones who went for the play on that bot side, Giant X, and it doesn't work out, and now it's across the map that you were losing out. As long as Kana doesn't get caught here.
Even if he does he die? Tries to get away, flashes the wall face.
Čet, já potřebuju rychle dát Steam Deck. A kdyby náhodou se něco dělo, tak potřebuji dát Steam Deck.
when you are diving on the enemy, firstly, everything has to be very well synced up. We saw the flash away from Vladdy meant that the equalizer wasn't on top of him, the depth charge didn't follow.
Takže čede, dnes se podíváme na to, jak se natáčel film na fakultě. Prý to byl celkem
Co to bylo? Celkem Battle Royale, ježišmarja.
Zase masturbuješ? Proč si radši nepustíš nové YouTube video a nevyhoníš si raději u toho? Dej tomu šanci a mrkni na to. Honit nutně nemusíš. A kdyby tě to náhodou nezajímalo, tak to nech puštěný. A vypni si zvuk. Pomůže to díky ti. A good luck s tvojí jahodou.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is game 3 where it all comes to bear, and Giant X are kind of desperate to get whatever goal.
Dobré.
Jackie's on towards some of these carries.
Dobré, no.
You've got Adakon now in 10 seconds. There is as much blue as possible on that bottom side of the map. There is.
No nic, hele, tahle poslední hra, to je prostě antiklimatik, kdy prostě Draft vyhrál hru. Nejde nic, hoší. Aspoň Blerpíky tady rozesmějí moje audience. Ale vypadá to zle, vypadá to hodně zle pro Giants, no. Tady jako nemají jak vyhrát fighty proti tomu draftu.
Hey, that's 100 damage on Targamas. That Rakan passive shield, man. You've got to. It's just so juicy. So difficult to deal with. As you say,
Casey jdou zase do finále. No, hele, neříkej ho, dokud nepřeskočíš. Casey se minule do finále dostali, skončili třetí. Měli špatnou sezónu. Ještě jsme neviděli hrát G2, neviděli jsme hrát Koi. Neviděli jsme hlavně hrát Vitality. Takže neříkej hop, dokud nepřeskočíš.
The meta, if you look at LPL and LCK, they are going for the Pantheons and Wukongs because you have champions like Zaya, that can
0 damage a mrtvola. Protože Skarner je 6000 HP. Mohli by tam hodit ručník, aby jsme šli na Mage Arenu. Vitality nevěřím stejně jak to tomu, že nejsem na vátej. Aha. Že tu jde zase top 1. Kamo, IO je teďka v pozici, kdy prostě všechny týmy jsou špatný, takže já nevím, co se reálně stane. Šestka goldy, tady by měli fightit, Giants by měli fightit. No matter what, tady by Giants měli fightit. Jackie, go. Ale proč se bojí Isma, proč se bojí zbytek, go. Borci, to byl nejlepší fight, co jste mohli fightit toto. Tohle měli fightit, kuci. To byl možná jediný fight, který by měli šanci vyhrát. Když by to forceli.
When it all goes wrong immediately after that.
It really does. Is it Phil Collins in Dire Straits? I can't quite remember. Kana might just blast going over the wall here. He's on his lonesome, but Chinex don't really know it. Isma looking for the smite.
Co je?
Gets back in. Oh, it's Noah that gets it. Meanwhile, Vladdy looking for a flank position.
Vladdy nemá náhodou. Shuffle. Dobrý flashe. 4 flashe za jeden. A ještě 2 killy.
Giant lose 2 again. Targamas chases off Lot towards the top side. Isma now. Man.
Já doufám ve Vitalice na Voros, no to já taky. Aspoň by konečně MKRZ neměl dovoleno.
Using the shield to aggro the Crux, Isma jumps across the wall. Targamas going to join this fray just to make sure that the buy does fall.
Give it to Targamas.
To je zakázaný, jo, ty FF. Nám vždycky říkali něco jiného, nám říkali, že nemůžeš FFovat, pak nám říkali, že FFovat můžeš.
Volám všechny honiboty. Bumblebee mi strčil toho svýho žlutýho čmeláka až k mému oleji za anténou. Jsem Optimus Prime. A nařizuji vám, nechte se vyfistit tímhle čuráko, picháčským žlutým sráčem.
No jo, ty blerpíky za 12 korun, jeden, zatím fungujou, zatím to funguje. Není to až moc ruší výčet. A jako u takovýhle hry je to jedno. Asi, že?
It does make the conversation for top 2 a little bit more interesting though, because, I mean, look, Fnatic not looking very strong yesterday. KC showing they can bleed today as well.
Importantly, Fnatic are in the other group.
Yes, but what I mean is just if you're trying to contest for those top 2 spots, I think it does become a little bit more interesting if
Ruší mě spíš tolkou toho. Zdražil bych to, já to pak zdražím. Dneska je to zadáče skoro, aby to víš jak.
But it hasn't been the best of showing from two teams that are expected to comfortably sit into those top 2 in their respective groups.
100% agree with you there. And you have to remember as well, you have 4 games.
Pozor, Kýlon těžký střelby na Mejchara. Tohle attention hore jako je Mejchar využije dost. Chtěli by to vtipnější donátory. Víš jak, jaký streamer, takovej chat. 0 vtipů, 0 clip farmů. GG.
25% loss rate in series if they lose this one. Currently 6,000 gold in the hole, 11-1 KC scoreline. It's palindromic and I like it.
No tak hoši, ale jdeme, začněte toho Barona. Pěkně to turnete a zabijte toho Ismu, který nemá flash. Ani nemusíte turnovat, protože Vaj nemá flash. Ať to můžem fireovat tu Mage Arenu. Tak, dobrý turn, one shot, klasika. Počkej. To trošku jako misplynuje. Teď ta Vi má flash, teď už je to blbý, hoši. Protože ji nezabili, to Vi tam nebyl damage. On šel moc deep, ten Jajk. Bloody. Kana, oni to inkí. Wow, Kaliste play, o můj bože. O můj bože. Dobré. Kalista vzal na sebe. Dívej, on flashne a není tam nikdo v podstatě. Není tam Kalist, není tam Vlady. Nedávali damage. To bylo blbý od Jajka, to vůbec neměli takhle turnovat. Tak moc deep. No, tady to trošičku pointili.
If there wasn't a 10k gold left, I think we could have won this, I think is what he said.
Yeah, and I agree with him. I think that could have been a bit...
Yeah, also, I mean, his math is off. It was only 6.5k at the time, so...
Okay.
Yep. Apparently Phil Collins was in Genesis, not Dire Straits. I apologize to anyone who knows 80s music, I guess.
Yeah, but they were all in the Hotel California, that's all that matters.
It's so true. As KC now should be able to close this one out. 8,500 gold ahead.
Jackie se by to chtělo Hilisanga. Tak jako aspoň by dávali follow na Jackiesův engage, hej? Největší problém bylo, že nefightili kolem ty tier 2 na topu. Jak Jackies tam byl jediný, kdo chtěl fightit a zbytek týmu byli posránci. To byl nejlepší fight, který měli takenout. Tam bylo třeba 30%, že to vyhrál ten fight. Všechny ostatní fighty jsou tak 5-10%, že vyhrál. Velká škoda. Ale Jackie zvěděl, že to má taknout. Jenom prostě Giants měli followovat, no. OK, Isma jde in, ale prostě tady je Galio, bro, to je jako draft div. Get gapped. Get gapped. OK, fireu Mage Arenu. Fireu Mage Arenu.
It took him a while, but KC finally managed to
Okamžitě.
bounce back and take it 2-1.